Hi everyone, this is a video and explanation video related to your assessment 2, which is group project. So basically in Moodle, if you open it, you can see 3 documents, which is the first one is assessment booklet, the second one is the approval form, the third one is the peer evaluation report. Okay, first of all, we're going to go through assessment booklet first. Okay, so inside this assessment booklet, you're going to see instruction and then assignment question, which is what you're going to do for this assessment. Consists of part A and part B, and also final report marking scheme. Okay, we go through for the first one. Basically for the first one, for instruction, this assessment need to be consists of 3 to 4 students in a group. So if you exceed 4 students, you need to find another team. If you does not reach 3 team member, which is 3 students in a group, then you need to tell me so that I can find another team member for you in the class. Okay, and for each group, you just need to submit only one final report to me. Okay, important thing is for this assessment is you need to submit an approval form to me, the final report, and also peer evaluation report. Okay, you need to submit it by the specific date and time that is already given, and you need to submit the soft copy, which is final report and peer evaluation report in Moodle, and make sure the soft copy is in PDF format. And the next one is you need to, let's say you want to submit me your final report, right? So this is your group this is your file name, so you need to name it as like this, and make sure that you type your final report in A4 size paper template, and also using the font of Arial or Times New Roman with font size 12. And then for this assessment, if you submit late, then you will be penalized for the first penalized 5% for the first 24 hours, and after the due date, and 10% thereafter. That means if you submit next day, then I'm going to minus 10%. The next day, I'm going to minus 25%. 15%. Okay, submission of any work 1 week after due date will be not accepted or marked. Sorry. Okay, and plagiarism also is not allowed in this assessment. If I find that someone do this action, do this kind of thing, then I will make you receive fail. Okay, for this group assessment, it consists of this following, which is part A and part B, and the internal marks for part A and part B is 30%, and another one is peer evaluation report 5%. Okay, so we're gonna and another information here is mark will be awarded as group for part A and part B, while the mark for peer evaluation report will be awarded individually. So if you do not submit any item of the list above, you will be penalized parts of the marks. So that means if you didn't submit peer evaluation report, then you're going to miss 5%. If you did not submit the final report, you're going to be penalized as 30%. Okay, now we're going to go through assignment question. Okay, for assignment question, you are required to collect a sample size of 20 students enrolled in Mathematics 1. So what you need to do is collect a sample size of 20 students enrolled in Mathematics 1 unit in trimester 1F, so which is current semester, and you need to select the sample using sampling technique that we already learned. Okay, which we learned already last week. We have 3 sampling techniques, so choose either one. Okay, now we go through for the part A. For part A is basically the first thing that you need to do before, first of all, when you start to do this assessment. Okay, part A is the approval form, which the due is on 6 May 2024 at 4 a.m. What you need to do is each group need to submit an approval form using the template that is uploaded to you guys in Moodle by the due date. and you need to follow all the instruction given and fill in the form, and you need to get approved by me, which is the lecturer, before you proceed to the next stage, which is the part B. So each team member must present during the submission of approval form, or the team member will not get any marks for the approval form. Okay, so basically for the approval form, what do we need to do actually? So we're going to open the approval form. Okay, so this is the group project approval form. If you see like this is what you're going to use when you want to send to me your approval form. First of all, you need to put your tutorial group, which can be the 1C2 or can be 2F1. Okay, and then put your team name. Then here you put your group member and then the student ID. And now we're going to proceed to the next one. So the next page here is the approval form. So let's say you fill in everything that you need to fill inside this approval form, and I have approved it, then I will sign at this part. If not, then I will sign at this part. Okay, then if it is not approved, then you need to come and see me again if it is not approved, so that until you get approved. Okay, now I'm gonna go for the instruction inside the approval form. So what you need to do actually for approval form, you need to fill in all of this and also all of this, the questionnaire design. Okay, first for the variable and objective of the study, actually what you need to do is, for this project you need to know first what do you want to study for the 20 sample that you select. So you need to know what is your topic of study first, and then after you know the topic of study, then you will know your variable 1 and then variable 2 and objective. So what is variable 1 and variable 2 here? It is actually our independent variable and our dependent variable. So independent variable is variable does not depend in any variable, but for dependent variable it depends on the independent variable. We're gonna go through example later. Okay, let's say for this one, if you see the objective, right? So our objective for this study, we want to investigate the relationship between the dependent variable and independent variable. So that's why here we put as variable 1 and variable 2. And then here inside population and sampling technique, here you don't forget to put the population. So at this part, what you need to put is let's say our students, for the one that enroll in mathematics 1 for this semester is 60 students. Let's say all of them, population, that means all. So let's say 60 students enroll in Maths 1 in 2024. So that is our current population. Now what is the sample? It is 20 sample that we select just now. So 20 students enroll in blah 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 blah. And the sampling technique, you can choose either one. So let's say you want to choose simple random sampling, then you can put here simple random sampling technique. So what about the sampling step? So here you can just describe the sampling technique. Based on the technique that we choose in front in the sampling technique at this part. Okay, so the first step, label the population from 01 until 60, let's say. After that, second one, choose any line. Choose the line. What? And then you can describe here. Okay, just fill in this form. So basically to choose the topic of study and our variable 1 and variable 2 here, we need to make sure we have independent variable and variable. So let's say when you select the data, right? So example, you select the data and then you got 20 sample. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's say you got 20 sample here. So after you collect data, you're gonna get data for x and y. Here, let's say the x is the variable 1, y is the variable 2. So you're gonna get a data here, data here, data here in each of them, and then what you can do is, okay, we're gonna proceed first. We're gonna stop at this part for page 2 and we're gonna continue for the page 3. So for page 3, this is the questionnaire design. What you need to do is design a questionnaire with 4 questions to collect the 2 quantitative data and 2 qualitative data by your team, and then you need to make sure that the questionnaire question consists of 2 open-ended question and consists of 2 closed-ended question. So for open-ended question is for quantitative data, for closed-ended question is for qualitative data. And this one you need to use appropriate question format to ensure that your question will generate the data that gonna meet your objective of your study. So for this question, for open-ended question, this is one of the example for the open-ended question where the respondent will enter any value that they can enter. Let's say they can enter 196. Let's say they can enter 141. Let's say they can enter 178. So based on the question, they can enter any value that they want to enter. So what about closed-ended question? Based on the same question, for closed-ended question, we give them choice to choose. So let's say we give them range. The first range, second range, and then the third range. So user will select from one of these choice only. So let's say the second one. So that is closed-ended question. We did not give opportunity to the respondent to explain or to input any value as what they want, but they need to select the value which is close to their answer. Okay, that is closed-ended question. So make sure that for open-ended question is for quantitative data, and for closed-ended question is for qualitative data. Okay, inside your questionnaire also, you need to make sure you ask the respondent name and student ID. And then for closed-ended question, at least you want to have 4 choices. And then open-ended question must directly related to the 2 quantitative variable chosen. So which mean the variable 1 and variable 2. Okay, now we're gonna go through the example first so that you can understand. Okay, so let's say if my topic example is effect of exercise and diet. So basically this is my topic of research, right? Topic of study. So for this one, I need to find the variable 1, I need to find variable 2, and I need to find the objective. So basically, let's say my variable 1 is amount or time spent. Let's say this one example. Let's say variable 1 is time spent exercising every week. And then the variable 2 is weight loss. So basically, here, since if you look at these two variables, you can see that one of them is a dependent variable, one of them is independent variable. So if you look at variable 1, this is actually the independent variable. And if you look at the variable 2, it is actually dependent variable. So that means this weight loss is depending on time spent of exercising every week. So if you imagine for these two variables, let's say we have a graph, right? A graph like this. Okay, for X, this one is independent variable, which is time spent exercise. This one is weight loss. So let's say if we create a fake data for this one, let's say for usually we're gonna think that if we spend time exercise a lot, that means increasing, so the weight loss also increasing, right? Or you can just find the weight here, so the weight loss also increase. So that's why your data can be like this. That means when time spent increase, the weight loss also increase. So here you can see the design or the shape of our data here right now, which is linearly increasing. So that's why if you look at this part, you can see that the weight loss here is depending on time spent. So that means when we increase the amount of time spent to exercise, then we're gonna see a lot of weight loss. So this is how you find the topic of your study. You find the variable 1 and you find the variable 2. So that is how you get independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, the next one, after you finish, you got your variable 1 and variable 2, so that means you can finally get your objective, which is based on the same example, to investigate the amount weight loss by, or you can choose here, and time spent exercising. So this is your objective. So since you already have your variable 1, variable 2, objective, and your topic, you can put inside this table. Okay, and now after you finish all these 3, what you can do is we're going to proceed to the next one, is designing the questionnaire. So since you already have your variable 1 and variable 2, then you can just design your questionnaire which can answer your variable. So now the first question that from this example is, let's say inside your design questionnaire, you put how much time you need to spend jogging per week. So here you put the unit, then how much you lost weight per week. And this is another question, and then another question. If you look at this question, right, this post question is actually the quantitative data. Why? User gonna input a value inside this, a value which is a numerical value, which is a number. Let's say for how much time do you need to spend jogging per week, so maybe we can put 4 hours. And then here for how much you lost per week, you lost weight per week, maybe 3 kilo maybe. So you put number here, or if you see here, this is 300 gram, right? So that means you need to put like 3000 kilo. So 3000 gram. So if you see here, we put a number, a numerical here, so that's why we call it as quantitative data. And for quantitative data, you need to make sure that the type of the question is open-ended question. So now the next one is the close-ended question, which is for qualitative data. This qualitative data is a data which is not in form of numerical. It is in form of sentence or form of element or character or something like that. And for this question also, you need to make sure that it is related also to your variable. So if you look at here, we give the type for we give answer for the user for the respondent to answer for this question, just like basic run, long run, tempo run, full track runs, interval run. So this is actually a qualitative data, this guy, because it is not related to number. And then it is actually close-ended question. Why user can answer one? User can answer only one. User cannot give a indefinite answer. So that's why we call it as qualitative data. And we need to make sure that it is close-ended question. Okay, after you find all of this one is example. So if you finish all of this, then you can fill in your questionnaire design inside this table. So you just delete all of this information and then put your questionnaire. So make sure two qualitative data, make sure two close-ended question and make sure two open-ended question. Okay, this is table of content that you're going to put in your final report later on. Consists all of this. Okay, the pages might be different because how you do it might be different with other student, other group. Okay, now for this one, after you finish for approval form, what you can do is come and bring me your form and then I will check. So let's say if I agree and agree on your topic, then I will approve at this part and then sign. Let's say if I did not approve, then I will sign. I will mark at this part, and then you need to do a correction for your approval form and then come and see me again to get approved. Okay? Alright, so after you're done for approval form, what you can do is go, let's say after you finish all this approval form. So that means currently you already have 20 sample data. For this one, what you need to do is we're gonna go through first the instruction inside your booklet. Okay, let's say currently you already select 20 sample, you already know your variable, you already know your objective. So we're gonna go to the example, the assignment question again. Okay, for final report, this one after you finish your part A, then you can proceed to final report. Okay, this one you need to make sure the template also given. Okay, the final report should consist this following section, which is cover page, table of content. This one exclude appendix. The 25 pages should exclude the appendix. And then you should emphasize data analysis, finding conclusion inside this final report. Okay, for a final report, you need to put a built-in cover page, which is actually the one that is the same as your approval form, and then the updated table of content. And then this one is what you need to do. The first page after table of content, you need to submit me the executive summary in paragraph, approximate 40 words summarized, including your objective, data collection method and sampling technique used, and step in carrying out the sample selection. Okay, after that, you need to do analysis data using numerical and graphical method. So this is the major part of your assessment. So you need to follow all of this. The first one, Okay, you need to do tabular graphical presentation and interpretation. So basically, if I explain right now, I know that you guys will not understand because you didn't learn yet all of this topic. So you're going to learn after during week 8, I believe. So that's why for now, I believe that you guys will not understand if I explain detail. So I'll just explain briefly for now. Okay, this one you need to have tabular graphical presentation and interpretation for all of your data. So basically, if we go back to your approval form, right, they ask you to give you, first you have your variable 1, which is the time spent exercise, right? The variable 2 should be weight loss. Okay, so you have these two variables right now, and your questionnaire, you have 4 questions. So the first question, second question, third question, fourth question. So 4. Okay, after you collect the data, you're gonna have a data for 60 students of Maths 1 student. So right now, from this 62 student, what you need to do is select 20 sample from 60 student. How to select? Using the sampling technique. So let's say after you use sampling technique, you already got your 20 sample. So for this 20 sample data, you're going to use the data from this 20 sample to calculate or to do the question 4 here, which is analysis of data using numerical and graphical method. So the first one, we need to do tabular or graphical presentation and interpretation. So from this to 20 sample, you're going to have a data from question 1, from question 2, and then from question 3, and from question 4. So from this 4th question, you're going to create a tabular and graphical data, which means from the first question data, you're going to have a table and a chart. Charts mean graph, just like bar graph, just like line graph, just like a scatter plot, or just like a histogram. So that is chart. So also the same as this, you need to have table and chart. Table and chart. This one, table and chart. Okay, after that, the second one, you finish this one. So you need to make sure that you're going to have 4 charts and 4 table. Okay, you need to go after that, you finish all of the chart here for the data that you collect just now. You're going to calculate measure of central tendency, measure of dispersion, and the skewness for the 2 quantitative data. So these 2 quantitative data, so from all these 4 questions, let's say for the first question is quantitative data. The second question, quantitative data. So this quantitative data is related to each other, right? So which is independent and dependent variables. So you already collect 20 sample. So let's say 20 sample, which is this one independent, this one dependent. So let's say this is 20 sample, so you're going to have 7, 8, 22, 3, so 4, 6, 7, 8, 6, 2, 4, 3, 5, 9 maybe. So let's say, imagine that the data that you have is 20. So the first thing you need to do, using all this data, you have let's say this is from question 1. This is from question 2. So for the these two quantitative data, which is X and Y, you need to find the measure of central tendency. So for central tendency here, it consists of mean, mode, median. So let's say for the independent variable, which is the first quantitative data, independent variable. Another one is dependent. So this one you're going to find the mean, median, and mode. Also the same for this, mean, median, mode. Okay, this one we're going to learn on topic, I think 8 later on week 8 we're going to learn this. And for these two data, one of them need to be a group data. And then that means, let's say if dependent here is the group data, if the independent here is ungroup data. So for this one, for this ungroup data, you need to calculate mean, mode, median according to ungroup data. For dependent data here, if you want to calculate a mean, median, mode, you need to calculate according to group data standard. So what about measure of central tendency? So you're going to have two data also. You're going to use the same data, which is for independent and dependent. Here you will calculate variance. This one also variance you will calculate. You will also calculate standard deviation. This one also standard deviation. Okay, for each of X and Y. So let's say for this one you do for group data, right, just now. Group data for this one also for ungroup data. Okay, for this one you need to calculate the variance using and standard deviation using ungroup data. For independent, you need to calculate variance and deviation using group data. And then after you find the central it's not central tendency, this part, it is dispersion. After you finish this one, you can find each of the skewness. This one also you can find each of the skewness. Okay, after finish this one, you're gonna need to do graphical presentation and interpretation of scatter plot for the quantitative data. So currently you have this data, right, for this guy. Oh, sorry. Say we have this data. Okay, which is the quantitative, and this is the independent, this is dependent. So for this data, you need to sketch or create a scatter plot. So what is scatter plot? You also want to learn later. So basically like this is a scatter plot. So let's say your data is looking like this. So if, as you can see, it is positively linear. Okay, so from this graph, this scatter plot, we will find the linear regression line. So that means you're going to do measure of association, you're going to do interpretation. So you're going to do measure of association, which is the covariance and correlation, I think, which is RXY. This one SXY. So you're going to do this. After you get this, you will do the interpretation, and after finish this one, you need to find the linear regression line. Okay, do the linear regression line. So you're going to get an equation line, which is a linear equation line. Linear equation line here. And on this scatter plot, don't forget to plot the linear regression line here. Let's say if like this is your linear regression line, so you need to plot again on another image of scatter plot. You need to put this line. Okay, so after finish the scatter plot and the linear regression line on the scatter plot, what you need to do is do for extrapolation and interpolation for using the linear regression line. Okay, extrapolation and interpolation using the linear regression line that you already got here. So after that, after you finish that one, what you can do is just do some prediction on, or just explain a bit, or just brief a bit related to accuracy based on the prediction. This one I know you will not understand for now because you still didn't learn in the class yet, but it's okay, I'm just explaining here. If you didn't understand, you can ask me again. Okay, after you finish at part 4, what you need to do is do the appendix, which is you're going to put your reference, if you have any reference that you put inside your final report, and then a copy of blank questionnaire form, screenshot of 3 fill-in questionnaire. So after you select the questionnaire, right, so after you done the questionnaire, you ask the respondent to fill in your questionnaire, and the questionnaire that is filled in with the answer you need to provide in the appendix, and provide the screenshot of approve and approval form, approval form, and also the final report marking scheme. Okay, so where is the final report marking scheme? Inside this booklet also. Okay, don't forget to put the group member name and then the group name. And also here, you don't need to put anything, you just need to include also all of this marking scheme inside your final report. Okay, so that's it for your group project explanation. If you can understand, you can ask me again later during the class of the days. Okay, so for this one, the total marks is 120, and after you got the full marks for this one, I'm gonna calculate it by the percentage of 30%. Okay, another thing is, after you finish your final report, right, so you need to do a peer evaluation report. So this peer evaluation report, you need to fill in your name and the student ID, and here you can rate you can evaluate your own self, and then your group member, and then another your group member. So let's say your team member consists of 4 people. So here you can put your name, the first one. The first one you can put your name. Second one is your another team member. Third one is team member. Fourth one also another team member. Don't forget to put the name here, put the name. And then let's say you agree with the criteria, the first criteria here, which is attend group meeting regularly and arrive on time. So you strongly agree. So that means you can put 5 here. So put 5. So let's say you agree for the second member, you put here attend group meeting and regularly and arrive on time. So you feel that this is not disagree, this is strongly agree. I will update later. Okay, let's say you find that your team member, let's say Ali, is just neutral. You don't feel that he always attend the group meetings regularly, and you don't feel also he arrive on time. So that's why you can just put 3 here. So that one, this mark is based on your own criteria. You can use all of these criteria here to evaluate your own self and also your team member. Okay, all right. So this one also you need to submit the same time as when you submit your final report. Okay, I think other than that, if you have any question, you can ask me through Telegram. Oh, sorry, also through email, or can ask me face to face. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's it for the explanation on group project. If you have any question, you can ask me. Thank you.